over $1.3 trillion in market cap. One guy spent 10,000 Bitcoin on 2 pizzas. And the whole thing started with a PDF written by someone who's never shown their face. Ever. Bitcoin isn't just a currency. It's a rebellion dressed as software. A financial glitch in the matrix that went viral. So, if you've ever wondered how we got from an anonymous white paper to billionaires screaming "HODL" on X, stick around, because this isn't just a history lesson. It's the origin story of a global financial uprising. Quick disclaimer, not financial advice, just digital campfire storytelling for education and entertainment. If you take investment tips from someone with a cartoon profile picture, well, that's on you. Let's rewind the blockchain. Let's go back to before Bitcoin existed. Money, as we knew it, was based on one fragile thing: trust. Trust that your bank won't freeze your account. Trust that the government won't print your savings into oblivion. Trust that the ones and zeros in your online balance are actually worth something tomorrow. And historically, that trust has been broken more times than a celebrity NDA. In Argentina, hyperinflation made cash worthless overnight. In Cyprus, banks literally froze customer accounts and took money to pay off national debt. In 2008, the global financial system collapsed under its own greed, and taxpayers footed the bill. People realized, wait, is this the best we can do? The world needed a new kind of money. Something immune to printing presses, Wall Street bets, and shady politicians. A system that didn't require permission to participate. And then it arrived. But not in a press release, not on CNBC. It arrived quietly, on a mailing list. But if we were going to reinvent money, there was one massive problem we had to solve first. Before Bitcoin, every attempt at digital money hit the same wall: double spending. Here's the issue. Digital files can be copied, MP3s, PDFs, memes, and if you can copy a file, you can copy digital money. That's a problem. Imagine if you could send the same $20 to 5 different people at once. Boom. System broken. Chaos unleashed. The way to prevent this used to be simple. Put a bank in the middle. A trusted third party. Someone to verify every transaction. But Bitcoin wanted to eliminate that middleman. No banks, no companies, no central authority. So how do you stop double spending without anyone in charge? That was the impossible riddle. And no one had cracked it until someone named Satoshi Nakamoto showed up. And trust me, the timing of their arrival was no accident. October 31st, 2008, Halloween. While the world was stress-eating candy during a financial crisis, someone named Satoshi Nakamoto sent an email with a 9-page PDF attached. Subject line: Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. The PDF proposed a radical idea. What if money could move directly between people, without banks, without middlemen, and without anyone in charge? The solution: a network of computers verifying transactions, publicly and permanently, a chain of blocks, a blockchain. Each transaction would be timestamped, verified, and locked in a digital ledger everyone could see but no one could alter. No banks, no printing, no permission. Just pure math. No one knew who Satoshi was. Still don't. But they just lit the fuse on a financial revolution, and almost nobody paid attention until Satoshi did something no one had ever done before: launched the network. On January 3rd, 2009, Satoshi mined the first block of Bitcoin's blockchain. It was called the Genesis block, block number 0. Inside it, Satoshi included a hidden message. The Times, March 1st, 2009. Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. It wasn't just a timestamp. It was a statement. A mic drop coded into the DNA of the currency. Bitcoin wasn't just money, it was commentary. Born from a broken system, it was designed to never need a bailout, never inflate into worthlessness, and never bow to a central authority. At this point, Bitcoin had no price. It wasn't listed anywhere. It was just mined. Traded between early adopters. A nerd experiment with no real-world value until someone got hungry. May 22nd, 2010. The first real-world Bitcoin transaction. A guy named Laszlo Hanyecz posted on a forum, "I'll pay 10,000 BTC for 2 large pizzas." Some brave soul took him up on it. Domino's didn't know it, but they'd just hosted the most expensive meal in history. 10,000 BTC today, worth over $700 million. But Laszlo's transaction proved a point. Bitcoin could actually be used as money. Not theory, not code, commerce. And that single pepperoni purchase kicked off a global frenzy. Soon after, new exchanges popped up. People started mining Bitcoin on actual graphics cards. The price rose slowly, then suddenly. Bitcoin was growing up. As Bitcoin gained traction, people started paying attention. By 2011, the first altcoins were created: Litecoin, Namecoin, and a growing list of digital hopefuls. Forums exploded. Mining rigs got louder, prices soared. $1, $10, $100. In 2013, Bitcoin hit $1,000 for the first time. And Wall Street started sweating. Mainstream media jumped on board, some praising it, others declaring it a bubble. But one thing was clear: Bitcoin wasn't going away. People no longer saw it as a tech experiment. They saw it as a financial lifeboat. And when governments around the world started to restrict capital flows, freeze assets, or inflate away currencies, Bitcoin became the plan B. Of course, it wasn't all smooth sailing. 2014, enter Mt. Gox, the largest Bitcoin exchange at the time. Except it had terrible security. Hackers exploited it. And just like that, 850,000 BTC vanished. That's like Fort Knox disappearing during lunch break. Bitcoin crashed. Headlines declared it dead. Panic set in. But something weird happened. The community didn't vanish. It adapted. New platforms with better security rose from the ashes. Cold wallets became the norm. HODL was born. And Bitcoin didn't just survive the storm, it learned from it. Kind of like a cockroach that lifts weights and evolves. Now this was the moment. Bitcoin surges to $20,000. Media goes into a frenzy. Everyone from your grandma to your Uber driver starts asking, "Should I buy Bitcoin?" People were mortgaging homes to FOMON. Twitter became crypto central. New coins launched daily. And yeah, after the hype, it crashed hard. But this time, infrastructure was already in place. Wallets were better, users were smarter, and the belief in Bitcoin? Stronger. This wasn't a gimmick anymore, it was a new asset class. Fast forward to today. Bitcoin isn't just a coin. It's a movement, an ideology, a geopolitical chess piece. El Salvador adopted it as legal tender. Major U.S. companies hold it on their balance sheets. Hedge funds trade it. Bitcoin ETFs. Politicians now debate it on Capitol Hill. Bitcoin is no longer early, and it's everywhere. And yet, it's still just getting started. Say hello in the comments if you've ever opened your crypto app at 2 a.m. and instantly regretted it. You're not alone. Bitcoin didn't just birth a coin, it launched an entire ecosystem. Because of Bitcoin, we now have Ethereum, smart contracts, DeFi, NFTs, DIOs, Web3, digital identity, central banks creating their own digital currencies, ironically. Bitcoin didn't just change how we store money. It changed how we think about money, who controls it, who gets to use it, who gets left out of traditional finance, and how tech can fix that. From a white paper written by a mystery figure to a trillion-dollar network, reshaping global finance. Bitcoin is more than just an investment. It's the first domino in a financial revolution. It showed us money doesn't have to be national, or printed, or gate-kept. It can be math, it can be transparent, it can be yours. And whether Bitcoin becomes the world's reserve currency, or just digital gold for the internet age, one thing's clear. It changed the rules. And the old system can't unsee what's been created. If this episode helped you finally understand Bitcoin's wild origin story, like the video so your algorithm knows you're one of the smart ones. Subscribe for more fast-paced breakdowns of money, investing, and the chaos we call modern finance. And drop a comment, where were you when you first heard the word Bitcoin? Stay curious, stay decentralized, And please don't spend 10,000 BTC on pizza.